how to get 30 tomatoes from each tomato plant. And that's the secret. That's what you want. You want at least 30, and you want 100 cherry tomatoes if you can from just each plant. And that's the secret. And there's a way to do it. There's a way you can get 100 cherry tomatoes off of one tomato plant, and at least 30 like beefsteaks and that type of tomato off of regular tomato plants. But it takes some doing. You don't just water and think you're going to have 7 and 8 foot tall tomato plants. These are getting closer to 8 foot now, and they're looking great. They're just unbelievable. But we did a few things to make it happen. You have to make it happen. First of all, we used magnesium in the first step, and that's fertilizer. When you see fertilizer, you see that there are 3 portions to fertilizer. One is magnesium, then phosphorus, and then potash. So when you start out, you want the magnesium. You want the high first side, the first letter of the 3 digits of fertilizer. And when you put in that magnesium, you get the beautiful green, the large green plants. But as soon as they start flowering, as soon as you see them start flowering, that's when you start putting in potassium, the second larger ingredient on the fertilizer. And then thirdly, when you start seeing the fruit coming, that is when you add the potash, or a higher third portion. And that's what we did. So right now, we're going to have between 300 and 400 tomatoes from just these few stalks. And we're very pleased to have known about this, that we learned, incredibly enough, off of YouTube. It's very important to know. You do need to follow those directions if you want to have that kind of produce. And nowadays you want to get the most bang for your buck out of each plant, and that's why it's so important to remember phosphorus and potash. Okay, and there's a lot of ways to get it too. Boil eggs and put the eggs in. Okay, you can also use wood. Get wood that has charcoal and put that in. Very important that you follow this if you want to get that kind of produce. There's secrets to doing it, and those are basically all you need to know to get that kind of large production from each and every plant. So we're very pleased with that. And same with squash. You want to do the same with squash to make sure you get the large leaf. That's when you use the magnesium first. So, and then after that, you're going to go for the potassium and the potash. Now, they're flowering, it's time for potash. So we're going to add a lot of potash, and we're going to have incredible squash produce this year. Very pleased with that. Same with the beans. When you have the beans, okay, they hang full, and you can see the beans are really coming along very nicely. But again, you do the same with that. When you want a big bean harvest, there's one plant, and we have lots of beans. But again, start with magnesium. As soon as it flowers, switch over to potassium. And then when the fruit starts, you put in the potash. And that's the secret. That's the real secret of getting unbelievable plants. So we're very pleased with how they've turned out. So everything is going well, but there are certain things you must follow if you want a good and prosperous harvest.